Dolly Parton turning 80 is not just a birthday, it's a moment that feels like a cultural checkpoint, a reminder of how rare it is for a celebrity to remain this relevant, this beloved, and this unapologetically herself for more than 6 decades. In an industry that constantly reinvents, replaces, and forgets, Dolly Parton has somehow managed to do the impossible. She has stayed iconic without ever becoming distant. And when she reached this milestone, she didn't do it quietly, she didn't do it cautiously, and she certainly didn't do it in a way that played it safe. Instead, she celebrated with humor, honesty, and a comment that instantly dominated headlines and social media, saying she hopes she still gets to have plastic surgery as she ages, and that she hopes she has many, many more birthdays left to enjoy it. Born on January 19, 1946, Dolly Parton officially entered her 80s with laughter, confidence, and absolutely no interest in pretending she's someone she's not. While many celebrities approach aging with carefully rehearsed statements about embracing natural beauty or vague references to wellness routines, Dolly said exactly what she meant and meant exactly what she said. She has always been open about cosmetic surgery, and turning 80 didn't soften that honesty. If anything, it amplified it. Her message was clear: aging should be on your own terms, not anyone else's. As news of her birthday spread, fans were treated to a joyful, playful message straight from Dolly herself. Smiling, sparkling, and unmistakably Dolly, she joked about hoping to live another 80 years, continuing to work, continuing to laugh, continuing to love life, and yes, continuing to tweak her appearance if she feels like it. The way she said it mattered. It wasn't defensive, it wasn't insecure, it wasn't meant to shock. It was said with confidence, self-awareness, and that familiar charm that has carried her through every decade of her career. That moment resonated so deeply because Dolly has never hidden who she is. For decades, she has been one of the very few women in entertainment willing to openly talk about cosmetic procedures without shame or excuses. She never claimed her looks were natural. She never pretended she woke up looking like this. She never tried to sell a fantasy. Instead, she told the truth, that her image was something she built deliberately, carefully, and proudly. Dolly has often explained that her look was inspired by the town tramp she admired growing up, a woman who wore heavy makeup, flashy clothes, high heels, and didn't seem to care what anyone thought. That woman fascinated young Dolly because she represented freedom, boldness, and control. That inspiration eventually became a blueprint. The wigs, the rhinestones, the nails, the heels, the curves, none of it was accidental. It was armor. It was expression. It was identity. It was Dolly deciding from a very young age that she would define herself before the world had the chance to do it for her. That's why her plastic surgery comment at 80 felt less like celebrity gossip and more like a declaration of independence. It was Dolly reminding the world that she has always been in charge of her body, her image, and her choices, and she still is. This birthday also arrived during a time when fans had been quietly worried about her. In the months leading up to January 2026, Dolly postponed appearances and rescheduled her Las Vegas residency. As always happens when a beloved icon steps back, rumors spread quickly. Social media filled with speculation, concern, and heartfelt messages from fans around the world who feared the worst. Dolly eventually addressed it in her own calm, reassuring, lightly humorous way. She explained that she was fine, that she simply needed some routine health procedures, comparing it to taking a car in for maintenance. Nothing dramatic, nothing dire, just a reminder that even legends need tune-ups. That explanation instantly eased fears and reinforced why people trust her, because she doesn't exaggerate and she doesn't hide. Even with that reassurance, the emotional reaction when her birthday arrived was overwhelming. Tributes poured in from every corner of the entertainment world. Country artists thanked her for blazing trails and opening doors that once seemed permanently closed. Pop stars credited her for teaching them how to stay authentic in an industry built on imitation. Actors, writers, and activists praised her generosity, her kindness, and her unmatched cultural impact. Younger fans, many of whom discovered Dolly through memes, viral interviews, or short clips shared online, celebrated her as a modern icon who somehow feels current without ever chasing trends. Older fans reflected on growing up with her music as the soundtrack to their lives, through heartbreaks, celebrations, and everything in between. Across generations, the message was the same. There is only one Dolly Parton, and there will never be another like her. Her 80th birthday celebrations weren't just about nostalgia, they were about relevance. They were about reminding the world that Dolly Parton is not a relic of the past, she is an active force in the present. She released special projects, participated in tributes, and continued to support causes that have always mattered deeply to her. One of the most meaningful was a collaborative version of Light of a Clear Blue Morning, featuring artists from different genres and generations. The song wasn't just a celebration of her career, it was a message of hope, resilience, survival, and optimism, themes that have defined her life as much as her music. Even at 80, Dolly is still working, she's still creating, she's still dreaming, she's still overseeing Dollywood, expanding the imagination library, supporting disaster relief, funding education, and championing causes that uplift children and families. Retirement has never been part of her vocabulary, and slowing down has never been her style. That's what makes her plastic surgery comment so powerful. It wasn't about vanity, it was about autonomy. It was saying, I'm still in charge of myself. In an industry that often discards women as they age, Dolly refuses to fade quietly. She refuses to apologize for wanting to look a certain way. She refuses to let anyone else dictate what aging should look like. Public reaction reflected that admiration. Fans flooded comment sections with praise, laughter, and affection. Many said Dolly made them feel less afraid of getting older. Others said she reminded them that self-expression doesn't have an expiration date. Some joked that they hoped to have even half her confidence when they turn 80, or even 40.
Of course, there were critics, there always are. Some questioned her honesty. Some criticized cosmetic surgery as a concept, but those voices barely made a ripple. Dolly's reputation, built over decades of generosity, humility, humor, and authenticity, speaks louder than any criticism ever could. To truly understand why this moment matters, you have to understand where Dolly came from. She grew up in extreme poverty in rural Tennessee, one of 12 children living in a one-room cabin. She learned early how to stand out, how to work relentlessly, and how to dream bigger than her surroundings. Music became her escape, her purpose, and eventually her power. When she entered the industry, she was often dismissed because of her appearance. People underestimated her intelligence, her business instincts, and her songwriting talent. Instead of shrinking under that judgment, she used it as fuel. She wrote hit songs. She built an empire. She became one of the most successful songwriters in history. And through it all, she never abandoned the image people once mocked. Instead, she refined it, perfected it, owned it. Plastic surgery for Dolly was never about hiding age. It was about amplifying identity. It was about maintaining the version of herself she chose, not the version others expected her to become. She has said she'll keep adjusting things as long as she feels like it, and at 80, she still feels like it. That level of honesty is rare, and it's exactly why people trust her. Her birthday also sparked renewed reflection on how much she has given back. The Imagination Library alone has donated hundreds of millions of books to children worldwide. She has quietly funded medical research, disaster relief, education programs, and countless individuals in need. She does it without announcements, without pressure, and without asking for credit. So when Dolly jokes about plastic surgery at 80, it doesn't come across as shallow. It comes across as human. It's one layer of a woman who contains multitudes: glamour and grit, humor and heart, sparkle and substance. At 80, Dolly Parton is not slowing down. She's not retreating. She's not rewriting her story to make it more acceptable or more comfortable for others. She's still laughing, still working, still choosing herself every single day. Her birthday message felt like a reminder to everyone watching. You don't have to disappear just because the calendar says you should. You don't have to become quieter, smaller, or less visible. You can still take up space. You can still care about how you look. You can still chase joy, creativity, and happiness at any age. And if that joy includes wigs, heels, rhinestones, bold lipstick, and a little cosmetic help along the way, Dolly Parton will be the first to tell you that there's nothing wrong with that. Turning 80 didn't soften her, it sharpened her message. She is living proof that authenticity doesn't age out, that confidence compounds over time, and that being honest about who you are will always outlast trends. Dolly Parton didn't just turn 80, she owned it. And judging by the love, laughter, and admiration pouring in from around the world, she's far from finished inspiring anyone anytime soon. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.